Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Hrudayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti suhit satam नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 30, the activities of the Prachetas, text number 47 and 48. Text number 47. तत्र वशिष्ठ ये वृक्षा भीत दूहितरं तदा उज्जा उच्चारुस्ते प्रचेत्यभ्य upadishta swayambhuva. Synonyms: Tatra, there, avashishta, remaining, ye, which, vriksha, trees, bita, being afraid, duhitaram, their daughter, tada, at that time, ujjaru, delivered, they, prachetebhya, unto the prachetas, upadishta, being advised, swayambhuva, by Lord Brahma. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The remaining trees, being very much afraid of the Prachetas, immediately delivered their daughter at the advice of Lord Brahma. Purport: the daughter, the daughter of the trees is referred to in text 13 of this chapter. This daughter was born of Kandu and Pramlocha. The society girl Pramlocha, after giving birth to the child, immediately left for the heavenly kingdom. While the child was crying, the king of the moon took compassion upon her and saved her by putting his finger into her mouth. This child was cared by the trees, and when she grew up, by the order of Lord Brahma, she was delivered to the Prachetas as their wife. The name of the girl was Marisha. As the next verse will explain, it was predominating deity of the trees that delivered the daughter. In this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada states, Vriksha tad adishtar devata. The trees means the controlling deities of those trees. In Vedic literatures, we find that there is a controlling deity of water. Similarly, there is a controlling deity of the trees. The Prachetas were engaged in burning all the trees to ashes and they consider the trees their enemies. To pacify the Prachetas, the predominating deity of the trees, under the advice of Lord Brahma, delivered the daughter Marisha. Text number 48. ते च ब्राह्मण आदेशान् मरिषाम् उपयेमिरे यस्यां महद् अवज्ञानात् ajanya ajana yo nija. Synonyms: they, all the Prachetas, Cha, also Brahmana of Lord Brahma, Adeshat, by the order, Marisham, Marisa, Upaye Mire, married, Yashyam, in whom, Mahat, to a great personality, Avich Nanat, on account of disrespect, Ajani took birth, Ajana Yonija, the son of Lord Brahma, Daksha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Following the order of Lord Brahma, all the Prachetas accepted the girl as their wife. From the womb of this girl, the son Lord Brahma, named Daksha, took birth. Daksha had to take birth from the womb of Marisha due to his disobeying and disrespecting Lord Mahadeva Shiva. Consequently, he had to give up his body twice. Purport. In this connection, the word Mahad Avagnanat is significant. King Daksha was the son of Lord Brahma. Therefore, in a previous birth, he was a Brahmana. But because of his behaving like a non-Brahmana, Abrahmana, by insulting or disrespecting Lord Mahadeva, he had to take birth within the semen of a Kshatriya. That is to say, he became the son of Prachetas. Not only that, but because of his disrespecting Lord Shiva, he had to undergo tribulation of taking birth from within the womb of a woman. In the Daksha Yagna arena, he was once killed by Lord Shiva's servant Veerabhadra. Because that was not sufficient, he again took birth from the womb of Marisha. At the end of the Daksha Yagna and the distress incidents there, Daksha offered his prayers to Lord Shiva. Although he had to give up his body and take birth from the womb of a woman, impregnated by the semen of Kshatriya, he received all the opulence by the grace of Lord Shiva. These are the subtle laws of material nature. Unfortunately, people in this modern age do not know how these laws are working. Having no knowledge of the eternity of the spiritual spirit soul and its transmigration, the population of the present age is in the greatest ignorance. Because of this, it is said in Bhagavatam 1.1.10. Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagyahi Upadruta. The total population in this age of Kali Yuga is very bad, lazy, unfortunate, and disturbed by material conditions. That's end of purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Salakaya Chakshur Ulmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantikam. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Roma Pada Swaminiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Desha Tarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas to glorify the Lord. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself, and please forgive me for any shortcomings or misinterpretations. Basically, I'm summarizing these verses from purports and like couple of lectures from senior Vaishnavas. So in this context, we are continuing about the discussion between the Lord and Prachetas. And we have seen in the previous verses how Lord appeared and instructed. We have seen in the last like 10-15 verses. And how these Prachetas performed severe austerity under the water, and with the Supreme Lord pleased and appeared in front of them and also glorified them. And he told that because you all united perfectly, united performed the devotional service unto me, and you all have very friendly relationship with each other. So I'm impressed on that. And now you can ask benedictions. So finally, he gave the benediction and to marry the Marisha, I mean like the daughter of Premlocha and Sage Kandu. So that's like preliminary scenes of this one. In addition to that, Lord also offered as a marriage. So that's the basic scenes. So also in the previous verses we have seen that Prachetas, after completion of their austerity, emerged from the water of the sea. They have then they saw that all the trees on the land had grown very tall, and they become very mad, and they thought that is to obstruct the path to the heavenly planets that they thought, and immediately they started uh, burning of all these trees into ashes. So in this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada states in the purport that Vriksha Dat Adishtar Devata. The trees means the controlling deities of those trees. In Vedic literatures, we find that there is a controlling deity of water. Similarly, there is a controlling deity of the trees. The Prachetas were engaged in burning of all these trees to ashes, and they consider the trees as their enemies. To pacify the Prachetas, the predominating deity of the trees, Lord Chandra, under the advice of Lord Brahma, delivered the daughter Marisha. So technically, whatever the austerity they performed uh, in order to get the progeny, so they got the Marisha as a wife, and now they married it. So after coming out of this austerity, so that's the context here, and also. Um, uh, in the past time, or maybe in the some similar past time, we also seen that Lord, so moon is the controlling deities of vegetation. So for vegetation to grow, it only requires sunlight plus water, we know in general, but it also requires moon for the proper nicely growing the vegetation. That's the reason the trees are growing, I mean like we are getting this all this vegetation in general. But with the advice of the Lord Brahma, the trees are taken care of this Marisha. The Marisha were delivered to Prachetas. Now they married and they got the progeny, and they blessed with another son called Daksha that we are going to talk in next verses. So similarly, if you take these words, there are a lot of things to understand. Like in our situation also, progress in devotional life is generally recognized by instructions how we are following. We all know all the instructions, but coming to the applications, it matters a lot. Because in Kali Yuga, if you take this example, this was happened in like Satya Yuga, their lifetime is 1 lakh years. But in Kali Yuga, it's reduced by divided by thousand, nothing but 100 years maximum. But we have, but and that too the Kali Yuga is compared to like a iron age, like a rather rusty, lot of contaminations we have, and we need to avoid and we need to control it. For example, in this context, if you see Lord Indra, who is very powerful but always envious to others, whoever perform yagnas, austerities, he always wants to disturb them. So because although he is elevated person, but he has a lot of contamination of enemy. So similarly, or one way or the other, we are also having those type of things as a foreign elements in our body. uh, we need to overcome that one, so that can be done, that can be overcome by performing the unalloyed devotional service. So in this scenario, in this way, when we perform our unalloyed devotional service nicely, the foreign elements like envy or maybe something like that can go away, and we can uplifted, we can get advanced in our devotional service. So in order to do that devotional service unalloyed way, I mean, like, we need to control our mind, because mind is the one who causes all these disturbances. How we can control the mind? Again, uh, chanting nicely, I mean loudly, by hearing one mantra at a time. That is one of the example we can take. So in that way, slowly we can control the mind, because mind is the misery of all the things whatever we are seeing. Even we can see from the Bhagavad Gita 6.5 and 6.6, उदारित आत्मनामानम अनात्मन अवसेदयत आत्मैव हि आत्मनो बंधुर आत्मैव रिपुर आत्मना. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is a friend of the conditional soul and his enemy as well. So similar to that 6.6, from him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So those are the things we can take from the verse 47. There are a lot more things to talk, but just I'm taking the few things, and next we can go to the verse 48. So in the 48, once these uh, Prachetas married Marisa and they're born with Daksha. The son is Daksha. But we have seen in the previous canto, canto number 3, that Daksha is the son of Lord Brahma. Uh, Even the earlier chapters we have seen that in the previous canto and this chapter as well, this canto as well, Brahma has 10 sons. Those are Prajapatis like Marichi, Atri, Angiras, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, Brugi, Vasishta, Daksha, and Narada. These are the 10 sons of Lord Brahma. So here we can see the example of Daksha. In the previous canto, we have seen that when he performed the Yajna arena, all the demigods all over the universe they came, but he did not invited his son-in-law, that is Lord Shiva. So, and also he not only invited him, but also he offended in that Yajna arena. So in that Yajna arena, somehow these Lord Shiva's associates came to know, and they came and they did something like or argued, like some conversation went over there, and in that scenario, Daksha not only offended Shiva but also killed one of the associate of Lord Shiva, that is Veerabhadra. We have seen this previous canto. So in that scenario, what we need to do is that what we need to take from there is that everyone has a dharma. In general, we all also have the dharma to perform something. So if we are not performing our dharma, prescribed duties in the correct way, definitely those are the big offenses we are making. So one deviates from away from the dharma, no matter, we need to take the consequences. So like for example, here Daksha took rebirth again, like 2 generations after. So here previously Daksha was son of Lord Brahma. I mean, like at that time he took in Brahmana family, but again, due to his consequences, offenses, now he took birth again in Kshatriya. So technically one step degraded. So no matter when we are doing these things accidentally or maybe unknowingly, those are the things also counted, and we need to take those punishments. So in our devotional life also, we have to be very very careful that, like, one of the previous chapter, previous classes, one Mataji saying like our life is like a talwar ki dhar. So no matter whatever the situation, there will be ups and downs. This is Kali Yuga, it's understandable, but we need to deal, we need to act very perfectly with God center, so that it will be all right to progress in our devotional service. Otherwise, similarly, like Daksha, we need to take some consequences in our life as well. So, in that context, Prabhupada also explaining the proper in this age, Kali Yuga, people are so dull and unable to understand this Vedic knowledge. And he quoted the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:110. प्राणेय प्रायेण पुल्षा सभ्य कलो अस्मिन् युगे जना मंदा सुमंदा मतयो मंदा भाग्या hi upadrutah. So in this age of Kali, men almost all have short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always continuously disturbed. So in order to overcome this disturbance from the mind, generally what we can do, we can take the devotional service by performing nine different activities of the devotional service: Stavanam, Kirtanam, Padasevanam, Dasyam, Asakyam, etc. So in this context also, again, it starts with Stavanam and Kirtanam. Chanting and hearing is the first top priority. So here, in addition to this, in Chaitanya Charitamrita 17.45, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knows that we are in the Kali Yuga. We know that we have very poor minded, I mean, like very dull minded here. He asked the question with humility to Haridas Thakur, that how can these people can be delivered, or how can these people get benefited. So Haridas Thakur replies, when we chant loudly, definitely everyone will get benefited. This chanting is so powerful that even penetrates the ears of trees and creepers who want to speak of those of animals and human beings as well. Generally, what to speak of those animals and human beings. So the trees in general, they are also benefiting with this Maha Mantra, with these vibrations. Definitely, human species also will get this benefit. That's the reply got from Haridas Thakur. So, in this context, when we take this devotional, congregational chanting, devotional process seriously, definitely one can advance and we can reach the goal of life in general. So, I will stop it here. Again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Vancha kalpatarurbhasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo